West and East African countries are ramping up investments in shipping infrastructure in a bid to deepen regional trade. CNBC Africa's Agina now brings us more on opportunities in the logistics business and why investment in value chains will be critical in attracting more global firms.
The most encouraging themes is there is an undeniable recognition of the need to localize value chains and increasing the job opportunities that Africa needs, both to ensure food security, pharma security, and in general to create more prosperity for its people. And that is an endeavor that cannot happen without serious investments into the industrialization of various manufacturing sectors within the continent, and to move away from the conventional model of extracting raw materials and commodities from Africa and adding value to them overseas and bringing it back into the continent. So that has definitely been one of the most encouraging takeaways for me. But I think there's also a lot of noise being made today about why things are not moving at a pace that we would like them to get us to the point where we can say we have the Africa we want. But at the same time, as important as it is to recognize the challenges, it is also important for us to champion projects and endeavors that have really done well to increase the intra-African trade, and also to position Africa not just as a consumer base of 1.4 billion people, but also a location where you can competitively produce and export into the rest of the world.
Speaking about boosting competitiveness, we've seen Nigeria has been quite active in terms of drawing in investors and opening up different sectors, and looking at the logistics business and all this aspect around special economic zones. Is it paying off? Are you seeing a turnaround in business, and is it driving trade?
Well, I won't be denying that the last 4 to 5 years have been difficult. There have been a lot of macroeconomic headwinds. But as Tolaram, which is the company that owns and sponsors the Lagos Free Zone project, one thing that we have learned about markets like Nigeria is long-term commitment is really important. We as Tolaram have been present in Nigeria for about 5 decades and have grown to become Nigeria's largest consumer goods company. And over the last 20 years also diversified into the infrastructure space, where we have successfully delivered Nigeria's first deep sea port and Nigeria's first port-based industrial system. So if you look at the trends of the performance of these 2 projects, the port started operations about 1 year back, and we are already handling a very successful proportion of the Nigerian container market. It is a unique project in the sense that it is the deepest draft that any port can offer within the Nigerian waters, and also among the deepest along the West African coastline. And with the addition of the modern industrial zone that we are developing right next to this deep sea port under the brand Lagos Free Zone, we really believe it is now possible for companies, both Nigerian and international, to locate themselves in the largest market that continent has to offer, which is Nigeria, and produce within the free zone to cater to both the domestic demand as well as the export demand. So in terms of the trends that we have seen, we have already attracted $2.5 billion of FDI investments, and these are all deployed investments, not MOUs or promises. And all these deployed investments have generated close to 18 to 19,000 jobs in the last 10 years of our existence and operations. So if we take this as an example, there are a lot of positives to take back. Having said that, yes, there are challenges in terms of the stability that is absent or challenging in terms of the perception that the international market has about Nigeria. But I think we have gotten to a point where we are turning the corner, and the currency has now been largely stable, at least for the last month and a half, 2 months, which portends the start of a new era where companies that are looking at opportunities in Nigeria have their biggest worry as the currency stability. And if the currency is stable gets stabilized at where we are today, I think there's going to be a lot of demand for FDI to come into Nigeria to add value locally. And the companies as well want to get as close as possible to the demand center. So there's no reason why that won't happen if the policy is offering enough stability and the hardware that is required to attract them, which is in terms of the infrastructure, which is what the private sector players like we are offering already.
Interesting. As we wrap it up, speak to me about the scale of investment you've pumped into Nigeria, and where else are you seeing opportunities to scale up?
So as our consumer products portfolio has successfully been growing across the continent. We started in Nigeria about 50 years back, and today we are present in about 8 different markets within Africa. So there is a lot of growth that we are seeing in both West Africa, South Africa, and East Africa as well. And as far as the Free Zone project is concerned, we are seeing a much higher degree of interest from international companies based on the inquiries that we have. In addition to the global brands that we already have inside the Free Zone, like Kellogg's, Colgate, BASF, Arla, Tata International, and all these companies are from different continents, from different parts of the world. In addition to servicing these existing client base, we are already receiving a very healthy inflow of inquiries and information requests from companies from all over the world. And we are hoping to consummate most of these inquiries into transactions within the next 12 months.
Excellent. And TJ, your closing thoughts. Global trade has been disrupted with the geopolitical tensions as well as the other aspects around security. Mm-hmm. How will this play out going forward? What are the risks at hand?
Well, I think disruption that we have seen in the last 5 years definitely underscore the point that companies want to now move away from a hub and spoke model to localize their value chains, to increase their resilience to the extent possible. And that is only possible when you are as close as you can be to the demand centers. And that is also only possible when there are the key ingredients of the software that is required to attract investments, which includes policy stability, security, and the ability to move people in and out, capital in and out. And I think a lot of conversations that we have heard today in the forum echo the same thoughts. As long as we continue to deliver the right environment that is conducive for international companies and African companies to even grow outside of their home country within the continent, as long as we make that possible by providing a conducive and secured environment and removing the non-trade barriers like movement of people, easier border controls for trade, having modern transport and energy infrastructures to meet the requirements in all these various countries, I think there's no reason why the intra-African trade can't scale up in the very short term.